John Campbell, give it to me.
So yourself, can you do that?
Okay, yeah. So, God, I have to remember my speech. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to sell it to you, but in the way that I was selling it to the crowd. So I'm a Macau-born Kiwi Asian. Grew up in Fiji and Australia, and now call New Zealand home. The reason why I'm running this, because I'm very passionate about our community. I want to represent each and single one of you, because it does not matter who you are, what background you come from. Almost everyone is an immigrant here. I'm a prime example of it, you know. And the community has given me so much, and this is my way to pay back. And then I forgot the rest of the speech. Can I use emojis? So a Chinese man emoji, yeah. Peace sign. I don't know. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I didn't answer that question correctly, did I?
Do you have any political background?
No political background. Absolutely none.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nada. No. It's just you don't really have to have one. I think you don't really. If the reason why I got into this, I saw the Auckland Council newsletter. So one gets dropped into my letterbox each month. Have you seen it? So it just tells you about the events happening in Auckland and stuff. And then they come to that section, it's like, if you love where you live, why don't you stand? And then I was like, I love where I live. Like, I would not change anything. Like, and for me to become a voice of the community would be a huge honor. So what my group is, I should have brought a photo for you guys to have a look at my group that I'm really proud of. So we are a Labour, Greens and Community Independents, and we're very proud of it. I'm a Labour member. Each of us have a small representation of what Auckland is today. We have from a very old age, Richard Northey, who's a former MP, former councillor, who's been through everything, to a 22, 24-year-old. So it's a wide range, and a female as well. So, and then mixed in with Pākehās. I'm an Asian I grew up in Fiji. So a different background from normal Asian people, and then there's also Samoan Maori. So yeah, so we represent what Auckland is today, our team. So, and hopefully we want to win those seats to do more good for the community. Because at the end of the day, some people don't understand what local board does. Local board looks after local issues only. So the area we which live in, so it stretches from Mechanics Bay to the Eden Terrace to Westmere. That whole area we look after.
Us as young people, a lot of younger people know you as like the radio funny guy. So do you think that people take you seriously, or do you think that people maybe think this is just a radio
Well,
stuff?
that's a very good question. But because I'm not running on an independent ticket. If I was running on an independent ticket, you would think this is a radio stunt.
Yeah.
But because I'm running on a political ticket, I have rules and policies that I have to follow. So I have to follow those guidelines, you know. And then, like, you have no idea how many people ask me, it's like, is this a joke? Is he really doing this? Oh my God, really? But then, you know, with the door knocking and then meeting the, so I door knock around our hood. So I don't know why I call it hood. So some people get so offended. Around our ward, our neighborhood, so, and then, you know, you hear stories that you don't hear from mainstream radio. Like those, like local boards, if you do a little, like a tiny little thing, you know, like to improve someone's life, it's a huge impact on some people. Like, and I want to be part of that.
Yeah, do you think that relationship that you have been able to build with young people over being involved at the Edge will encourage young people to vote, especially for you? And
I hope so, because the importance of everyone having a voice is is pretty important in a way, because young people think, I don't own a house, why do I need to have a say? But that's a bad scenario to think about it, because it's not just about owning a house, it's about the community you live in. If you want the best for what's your community, don't be selfish and just think about yourself. Think about the community as a whole. That's very important, because a lot of places depend on funding. Your local clubs, you know, your parks, they depend on funding. If you choose the wrong people for it, your parks will be different, your funding for areas will be different, the whole picture will be different. So just don't think about yourself, but think about a community as a whole. Think about your neighbors, your elders, your younger people, you know. If you think about it that way, you would vote. It's very, very important. So, and it's a privilege to have a vote.
So what do you see, I mean, particularly in the Waitematā area, what do you see as issues for youth around here?
Well, the main problem is open spaces, I think. Like, more spaces for students and uni students to go to. The Alan Marvel Centre would be a prime example once it's built. I'm not sure where any of you girls know where it is. It's just beside the Metropolis Hotel, that massive area. So I think open spaces for people to go to study and stuff. Someone mentioned St. Kevin's Arcade is a prime example where a lot of students hang out and stuff. But you just need more open spaces, more parks. Like, if it's good weather, we wouldn't be inside this room. We'll be at a park, Like, more open spaces. And because Auckland's getting so much buildings here, left, right, and centre, you still need open spaces for people to go to. What do you think are the issues? Since you're the community, I should actually ask you. Like, this is where it is important. Like, you tell me your issues, and I'll tell you how I can solve it. Every young person has to be given a voice. Not only young. Doesn't matter you're old, young, or whatever, what background you are. You have to be given a voice. Yeah, everyone has to be given a voice.
Yeah. So I mean, say if we're given a voice, but how are you? This youth voting thing is a huge issue. How do you aim to solve that? How could you actually encourage youth to go out and vote?
Well, on radio, like, what have we been doing on radio last week, actually? Like, voting is a very serious thing in a way, but I try to bring it with a little bit fun. So last week, to encourage Dom to vote for me, I had to do certain stuff and some very unpleasant stuff. So we're trying to make it fun in a way, like, but at the end of the day, it's a very serious issue, but make it fun. Like, I don't want to push, like, no, if you want to hear about policies and stuff, you can read all about it online, To give the people idea when the paper should have been out, when should be returned, when's the last day to actually drop it in the local library and stuff. Like, we give that message in there, but I do something fun for it. So you actually get an entertainment out of it, but at the end of the day, I hope that people who were listening last week have it in their mind. Okay, the papers are due October 5, if you want to mail it back, or you want to drop it at the local library or council buildings by October 8. So that was a little message, but I did something. Well, I can't actually remember.
What did you do?
I can't actually remember what I did. It was just last week. Shows how old I am. I had nipple clamps, which had electric shock on it. Yeah, so, and then he asked a few questions. So he started with questions about the city, and then the question went somewhere else. So example is like, what do you think of the unitary plan? And then his next question is like, which animal can reproduce itself? And then like, it's just making fun. Have you guys seen the show Parks and Recreation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I want. Council to be fun. I want to be Leslie Knope. No, and Ron Swanson. So it has to be fun so that people will get engaged and get connected to it, So if it's all so serious, like, you'll see that on TVNZ, News Hub, all the serious stuff will be there. It'll be there. It's just, I'll try to make it fun for everyone to enjoy in a way, but also knowing the serious issues.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of how you perhaps balance the youth perspective and older people who aren't so
yeah, because some young people would some old people is like, oh, he's just too silly for it. That's too silly for it. But as long as they're talking about it, they are talking about it. So they will remember, like, yes, this is due, and have a say. Like, quite a lot of people that I've known of, they don't know where the voting papers are. Some people just throw it out. So they just don't care. But it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue. Yeah. I know I talked a lot about, like, the older group and stuff, but then there's also the young people. Like, there's so much they could achieve. Like, there's so much potential out there with the young people that I would love to have help in a way through the Waitematā Youth Collective. Like, they work with young people inside our region. So I will work very closely with them if we get on the board.
So what was the craziest prank you ever did on the edge? Do you think this could come back to haunt you as a politician?
I don't think there is anything. I'm a quite open book, Guy Williams said it on John and Ben the other night. He's running for politics and he's got something to hide. And I was like, there's actually nothing to hide. If you've listened to The Edge for 14 years, my life has actually been on radio. Everything has been shared. The lows, the highs, the marriage, the proposal, not married yet, the proposal, and everything has been shared. There's actually nothing to hide. But the thing that probably will come back and haunt me would be, this was when I first started The Edge. I got into a box, and the domestic airport, the carousel, So they dropped me in the box, dropped me on the carousel. I went around and around and around and around, and yeah, it became a security issue. So our opposition, another slogan from our opposition, which I'm not going to name, they said vote for change. So I just covered the E and then vote for Chang.